Hi everybody, Lucas here at Lucas Welsh Music, and today, as a kind of a repeat video, I am doing a second review on this Nova 3605. I had a few technical problems for some people with the first video that I did, and they were audio difficulties. So hopefully this works out better. I'm in a much smaller space and closer. So the Nova 3605, cheap guitar from your Sears catalog kind of a thing. We're gonna call this a plywood guitar. It is a wooden bridge, and I know because I had the bridge off of this guitar. So the bridge was lifted off this guitar. I took it off, cleaned it up, re-glued it back down, strengthened it up a little bit. I did a kind of a really fast fret dress on it. The upper tongue extension here, fretboard extension, whatever you'd like to call it, has a big woof in it. I'm not going to go to the time to fix that. That's way too in-depth, doing the bridge work. But, I mean, this is going to be a great guitar for some kid to learn how to start on the bottom. You know, the bottom, it's really good. It's good to about the 8th fret, somewhere up in there. 8th, 9th fret. Yeah, somewhere in there. So the fret ends were sharp. I cleaned them up quickly. Leveled there was a couple really bad frets up here that wouldn't even let it play this much. So I did just kind of yank them down a bit, dressed everything really quick, and then strung it up with, where's my package here? Martin Silk and Steel guitar strings. The silk and steel part is gone, but they are silk and steel custom, and they go from a 0.29 mil for the first string to a 1.19 for the high string, or I guess they'd be 11 to 47s would be what the custom size is. And I've put silk and steel on 3 of these Novas now that I've had come through the shop for minor repairs. Well, this is actually the most minor. The bridge coming off was the most minor. The rest of them have been broken here. But I fixed them all, and they play. And they're remarkably sound little guitars. This one is not the greatest because the fretboard extension has a big hump in it here that I'm not going to go through the time to take that out, re-fret the guitar. It's simply not worth it. So, but it has a surprisingly warm tone, especially with these strings. I'm going to attribute 90% of it to these strings. And the intonation is good. I've told some people in the past, you know, I haven't even given these guitars a chance. People say to me, oh, my, grandpa got me this Nova guitar, and I'm like, tell him to take it back. And I feel bad for some of those people because they did. And, when I got into a couple of them, by golly, there's nothing wrong with them. They work. The biggest problem with these guitars is people. People put high-tension strings on these guitars, and they're just not designed for it. Okay, the bridge, the plate underneath the bridge is literally a 1.5 inch wide strip of probably whatever plywood they use for the top that runs the whole width. That's it. Okay, so you can't really, maybe if I get it right there, you can see this one is bellied down a little bit here, right under the bridge. It's tough to see in the camera, but anyway, that's a result of putting high tension strings, way too high a tension of string on these. I feel that the Martin Silk and String are a really nice fit for these little guitars. They warm the sound up. I mean, this is like a plastic saddle, plastic nut, 0 fret. but the intonation. I mean, that's actually surprisingly pleasant. Not gonna say that it's perfect because it's not, but the intonation is playable as long as they're set up decently. They will work. Little buzz there. Woo, got a harmonic. I wasn't sure if that was going to go or not. So anyway, there you go. Quick blast on the Nova 3605. Plywood all around. Plywood neck, most likely. Or, some whatever. I have no idea. Be real honest with you. No binding. Painted on binding. These are the cheapest of the cheapest guitars. But if you can find one and the fretboard is straight, the guitar doesn't have a big dish in the top, the bridge is still on it, neck isn't broken, you can get these things to play. If you're willing to spend the time, and it would be a few pesos. Most luthiers probably aren't going to want to fix a broken neck on one of these. They're going to say, you know what, it's not worth it. And it probably isn't. I'm doing it just because, okay? An instrument in the hands of a kid that may get something out of it, as opposed to a myriad of alternatives that aren't pleasant like music can be. So, anyway, there it is. Ciao.